because of it.
You are me. You could be.
Hold on. I disagree with that.
Hold on. Bro, chill, go ahead. You want your girlfriend sharing secrets about
Okay, see, that's different. That's different.
Just generally.
No, then what's the point of the friendship?
No, Awwal. I think.
Wait,
Hold on. Time's not up. We're going. Hold
Let me
up.
ask you this.
We're gonna give you guys the question. So, how do you handle a clingy, jealous person who does not have a title in your life?
So, like, do you mean like relationship-wise, or like just like a friend, or?
So, we'll first start off with relationship-wise.
Okay.
So, let's say you met someone and you're in the talking phase, but then you start noticing that they're getting a lot more comfortable. They feel as though, okay, well, if you're talking to me, then you should only be talking to me right now.
For me, I'm not scared to be like, look, I'm single, so like you have to chill with all that, and that's the fact, because like I am single, so like you're not gonna do all that, especially no, you're not gonna do that.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like if we're just talking, it really shouldn't be that deep, unless like me and you have that sit down conversation of like, yo, we're about to be like you know, like we're only gonna talk to each other type thing. Then I feel like it's okay to like have some like sense of cling. You know.
So, how you think it's okay?
I think like even talking to somebody, it's okay to be like, okay, like let's do a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being like literally like little to no cling whatsoever. I think it's okay to have a 1. You feel me? As you guys progress, and like, but you should never want to get to a 10, because then that's just like you way out there. Like chill.
Okay, because you guys talked about in part 1, it's going to be in the description below, so go check that video out if you haven't watched it. But y'all talked about in part 1 that chilling, vibing, and stuff like that. So y'all chilling and vibing, but you got the second person. You don't know how the other person's thinking. So they're becoming a little more clingy, a little more jealous, but y'all never really had the conversation. Yeah.
That's when you have to talk.
Yeah. Voice your opinion. Be heard.
Yeah, like, bro, you too close.
You have to be heard.
Okay, now what if you have already become sexual with this person? You have not talked about a relationship or anything like that, but now they feel as though, okay, well, we should start having some type of real connection since I've let you into my life and my body. So how do you handle that?
I'm like, damn, so you really want more?
Yeah.
You really want some more?
Yeah. I think what a lot of people do nowadays is like we expect to have sex and then expect to have like real feelings after, right? Where it's like we don't talk about like okay, if I'm having a one night stand, that's different. That's a one night stand. But if like we're talking and we have sex, you can't just expect me to automatically like have instant feelings that I never had. You have to be like, yo, if I'm gonna have sex with you, this is what I'm looking for. If you're not willing to give it back to me, then I can't give you my body, plain and simple. And that goes for both male and female.
But what if like the girl is the one being clingy and then the guy wants the sex?
Then if the guy isn't, honestly, like if the guy isn't ready for the relationship and the girl's being clingy, walk away, my dude. Like it's never that serious. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's really never that serious to have sex with somebody.
Okay, the way how y'all talking right now, is it like, do you talk to your guy friends about that?
Yeah. Like these are my guy friends right here.
Yeah. So y'all don't be like, dang, she's a good girl, but she clingy and stuff like that. Yeah. But he's wanting sex. So do you have that conversation with your friends like, nah, dude, you just need to let her go if you're not ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
What I tell my friends, I'm like,
and vice versa for girls too.
Yeah. What I tell my friends, I'm like, yo, like if you're really not about the relationship, don't go hurt this girl. Like plain and simple, because at the end of the day, like I have to hold myself accountable and how like I react with my friends, because I'm like hopefully gonna have a daughter at some point in my life. You feel me? And I want some dude to tell his friend the same thing I'm telling my guys. when it comes to my daughter. Like real talk.
Yeah, if you ruin, if pretty much you lead her on, you're ruining her. So at the end of the day, she's gonna do that to someone else, which is a guy who is a good guy who has no experience whatsoever, or you know, has come away, you know, has all and whatnot. So I mean, honestly, just don't do it. Period.
So what does leading on look like?
Like I'm telling you something, but then like.
What are you telling? What are you telling?
Telling you all
What's
the sweet
going on?
things you want to hear. Like I'm really saying like, yo, like I want a relationship. I want this. I want that. I want you to be this with me, right? Knowing that in the back of my head, I'm not. You know, my actions aren't gonna portray the same thing, or like vice versa, where it's like my actions are showing you all these things, but I know like I'm not really feeling it in my heart. Like I'm giving you all this relationship feelings, but it's not it.
So then there's that question. So why are you telling her all those feelings, but you don't really mean it?
Because you have a mental illness. Yeah, it's a means of manipulation to be
Yeah.
honest.
It is.
Like,
It is.
it's
It's messed up. You shouldn't do it. Some dudes just think it. Some people just think it's worth it. You know, like because they feel like once I get. Yeah. See.
Okay, so the second question is, as a friend, how do you advise your friend that the person they're dating/talking to isn't a good fit?
People be going in their head, so I just mind my business.
It's honestly, it's so difficult. I got to the point where it's like you have to pick your battles wisely and make sure like you're aware. Like for me, I think I would really only do it for one of my close friends, because even like the whole thing like finding that your friend's guy or whatever was cheating, and it's like, do you tell him or not, and all of that. I think for me is like you have to pick your battles wisely. Like I said, if it's a close friend of yours and you guys have this strong bond, sit them down. Be aware that at the end of the day, if they're like in love or whatever, they might just like go back to the person or whatever. But I think just sit them down and just talk and be like, yo, I'm gonna let you know this is the way it is. Like, I'm gonna leave it up to you at the end of the day, and I'm gonna still be your friend. I'm gonna still be here for you, whatever you choose. But just know I'm like letting you know this is an issue, and just leave it up to them. And I think just make sure you're there for them at the end of the day. If they make a decision that you don't agree with, like still be there, because they're your friend, they're your guy, your girl, whatever. So just be for them at the end of the day.
So then, okay. So in certain situations, wouldn't you look bad if they end up getting with the person, and then you were the one that were like, yo, your person was cheating on you?
That's
You
what I'm
feel me?
saying. Like, that's why I say you have to pick your battles
but it's just-
wisely, because for me, it would have to be like one of my close friends that like, you know, and it's just like, where does your loyalty lie at the end of the day? Like, does my loyalty lie with you? Then yeah, I'm gonna let you know that and be upfront with you, you know, even though like you might, get back with the person. But.
I think I need hard proof before like I go speak to anybody about like their other person cheating on them. And like me and you really have to have like you know, Zip said, we really need to have like that relationship, you know, where it's like we're really talking, you know, like we're really like closer friends, like things can break us apart. That's what it really comes down to.
So we didn't really mention anything with cheating, but that is a good topic. But we're talking about like a good fit. So we talked about dateable, a fling, and stuff like that. So I'm wondering like how you look at this person as a fling, and then your friends looking at this person, nah, this is dateable. So how do you even advise that person? What's the advice that you give?
Just say I told you my own.
Wait, that.
Tell them not to get too attached.
So like my friends looking at the person, like let's say my friends looking at the girl as like a relationship, or the girl's looking at my friend as a fling.
No, you're looking at the girl as a fling, and your friend is looking at the girl as a relationship.
Oh, that's different. That's my guy. I'll let him know right away. I'll be like, yo, like, don't put yourself in that situation, because I don't think that girl's serious.
But also, you also gotta know where he's coming from.
Yeah,
You gotta know,
right.
you know, his factor behind it.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's when you guys talk.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Like that's when you really have to like have a heart-to-heart conversation and be like, do you really think this girl's like the right girl for you? Because like she's over here, her actions are something completely different, you know, compared to like what you want in life.
Okay, well, anything to add? Well, we can go to the next question. We're under 5 minutes.
So the next question is, how do you handle your partner being friends with the opposite sex? So like, let's say, you know, you're in a relationship, and as a girl, my boyfriend has different female friends. How would you go about it? Do you feel comfortable, or do you feel uncomfortable? If your girlfriend had a lot of male friends that she was really close to, would you want those relationships to end, or are you okay? Do you both trust her enough to her have boundaries with that person? Like, how do you feel?
I'll speak on this because I personally have a lot of guy friends. I think for me, if like if you were friends with the person prior to our relationship, I don't feel like I have a place to say like you can't be friends with them anymore. Because that's like, I feel like that goes for like any gender, to be honest. Like if the person was already in my life before I met you, who are you to tell me that I can't be friends with them, you know? But it also depends like what your relationship or like friendship is like with the person. If you're, let's say, friends with someone who likes you, or I don't know, it's like a guy friend that, for me, like let's say it's a guy friend I had and I know he's tried to make like advances with me before, I wouldn't be too bothered if like my significant other asked me to like stop being as close with that person because they had an interest in me. So that makes sense, you know? But other than that, I feel like I don't see why I have to cut off my friends if it's just like, you know, platonic.
Yeah. I feel like prior to getting into the relationship, you should have already noticed a lot of all this kind of stuff. Like, if you notice that, you know, the person that you're about to be in a relationship with has a lot of male friends, and I feel like everybody's insecure, but if your insecurity takes you to that level where you don't feel comfortable having her around all the males and stuff like that, let her know before getting into that relationship. And if she's not willing to, you know, make some amends to, you know, that, or, you know, if she doesn't have to stop talking to them, or he doesn't have to stop talking to, you know, them. But if they're not willing to like change, you know, some certain things, like the way they talk to them, like the amount of time and all this kind of stuff, then, you know, it's not really worth it. But I feel like you should have already, you know, noticed all this kind of stuff prior to getting into the relationship. Now, if you get into a relationship knowing this, and then now you want to complain about it, I feel like it's too late. You should just shut up about it.
Like if you're a selfless person, be a selfless person. But if it starts to get to the point where it looks like a relationship to the public eye, you gotta make a change, bro.
Yeah.
Period.
And also,
Go ahead, Addie.
and also, it's like it's okay to be friends with them, but if the person starts like crossing boundaries or like
Do actually
disrespecting,
too much.
talking
Right.
in a type of
Yeah.
way,
Like-
or if it's like someone that the person you're dating and the person they're friends with, it was someone they were dating before,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, you guys have this kind of relationship, and it's like, yeah, you probably won't be comfortable with that, and your person that you're dating should be able to understand and like probably do something about it.
Yeah,
or whatnot.
I think I agree with everybody basically, because like I feel like it really comes down to boundaries, you know, with every single thing like in your relationship. Like if my girl, like, okay, two of her best friends are guys, but it's like they know boundaries. They know like if shit's happening, it's like they get fucked up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but like that's a reality of it. But like I don't even need to like address that. They just know like these are the boundaries, and like they knew those boundaries even before me and my girl got in a relationship, you know. And so it wasn't really like, hey, I have to sit down with you and like have this, do we need a boundary talk? It was more of like my girl on her part being like, I know there's boundaries, and I have a lot of female friends, and she knows like, and I know like, yo, there's boundaries to what I do. Like I'm not gonna go to nobody's house at like 3 a.m. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's just starting to throw like red flags. Nor like what I expect to be like, oh, let's have sleepover type shit. Like, you know, because people be trying to like, oh, is this my best friend having a sleepover? Like, we're not doing all that. It's not. You know what I'm saying?
It's not normal.
Yeah, it's not like, it's really not like, come on. It really just comes down to boundaries. That's what it is, like, to be honest with you.
And respect.
Yeah, and respect. Like, and if you feel like the other person is disrespecting you in your relationship, and like your significant other isn't handling it, that's something you guys should talk about. And if that's still a problem where they're not handling it, then you need to like decide if you really want to be with this person.
I'll go and handle it myself.
Yeah, because it comes at like, and like at the end of the day, even if this person was in their life before you came there, like there's lines you don't cross, plain and simple, and like it just shouldn't be crossed. If it's being crossed, then you guys should readdress your relationship.
That was before. We are in the now.
Yeah,
Together.
exactly.
And just speaking for myself, I feel like if I'm not friends with a dude, I don't feel like I'll be comfortable with any other dude knowing more about my my girlfriend, you know, than I do. Or like my girlfriend talking, you know, sharing secrets and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, we don't do that
for
shit.
For me, I don't really fuck with it, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
So you're saying like if you're not friends with him, your girl can't be friends with him?
I mean, if I'm not friends with them, what's the purpose of it?
You are me. You could be.
Hold on. I disagree with that.
But hold on. Bro, chill. Go ahead. If you want your girlfriend sharing secrets about
Okay, see,
anything
that's
with-
different. That's different.
Just generally.
No,
Like,
then what's
okay.
the point of the friendship? then?
No, Awwal.
Yeah.
Awwal. I think.
Wait,
No, hold on. Time's not up. Hold up.
At 5
what's
minutes,
the,
oh.
what's the friendship? of it?
I mean, but like,
Like,
they were friends.
define
Like,
friendship.
okay, it's like platonic. Like literally, that's just my friend, like my guy. You know, like we've been friends for a long time, and now we get in a
There's a
relationship. And
lot
I've
of
been
people I
knowing.
call friends, but we just see each other. Hey, what's up? And we walk.
I mean, it's like a
Right,
pretty close
yeah.
friend, but you
That's
don't
not
necessarily-
Awwal, but that's
Or
not
you
friends.
talk to them
That's
about
acquaintance.
Ah,
Yeah.
Of course, but
You feel
like,
like-
you call them friends.
Okay, so for
You shouldn't
example,
talk to them about your
Alright.
relationship.
Awwal, hear this. So like,
Not only
okay.
about your relationship, but anything.
Oh, okay, so here's it. For example, like with me and Bree, right? Like she has 2 guys that are her best friends, but like before like niggas know shit, like I know what's going on before anybody else knows what's going on. You feel me? And it's like,
What if she
but-
has to vent though?
if she like, but like she has a girl best friend she can vent to, and that's but like even if she didn't have like a girl best friend to vent to, like sometimes like what she has to say she doesn't necessarily need to say to me because it's probably about me. So you like if me and her get into an argument, she's not gonna come vent to me. You feel me? But alright, she can go vent to like her guy friend or whatever because like I sat down with these people and I know these people. You feel me? So it's like, and if there's ever a line about to be crossed, she's gonna slap them in the mouth like plain and simple. You
But
feel
she's
me?
not necessarily like.
Exactly.
Are you friends with them necessarily?
No,
Exactly.
I personally like wouldn't hit them up like let's hang out. It's more of like her friends that, but because I'm dating her,
Yeah.
so her like like her friends gonna be your friends type thing, and you're like that's kind of
That's
what
fine,
it is.
yeah.
But like God forbid, but like let's say we break up one day, those aren't my like you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Those were never really my friends, and they're not my friends. I'm not gonna be like, hey guys, let's go grab like a bite or some shit like that.
Right. Okay. That's fine.
But like it's like with me because I have a friend that's a girl that I talk to when I need to vent. But if I know that she has any like animosity towards my girl, I would never go to her and vent to her.
Yeah,
because then
sure.
at that point, all her advice that's gonna come towards me is gonna be bad. And I feel like that's where it really comes down to. Because like as long as like your girl has a friend that's not really like talking shit about you when your girl's venting, that's like it's okay to have that. But if that friend's constantly talking bad, but it's up to your girl to tell you. That's where trust comes in. I feel like, you feel me? And it's like, yes, we all have our little insecurities, like, and that's with every human being. But like, you sometimes have to like look beyond your insecurities and look beyond yourself as a human being. You know?
So what about those friendships though that is just like hidden, like, oh, this is my friend, like how you said when you see acquaintances out there you call them friend. So what if it's like your girl or a guy and be like, oh, this is my friend, like you see them messaging or you're out there and you don't really introduce your partner or whoever and you just be like, oh, this is my friend, like the other person never knew that this was your friend.
But like they were texting prior to me knowing, or
Texting, they see each other, they're like, hey, what's up? That's your friend. But the other partner don't know nothing about this friend, and that's friend.
I think
Kind of sketchy.
I don't think
Were you
it's
purposely
sketchy,
like hiding
yeah.
them though, or
Yeah.
like was it just
I
they
don't
never
know.
came up?
So okay, so
They
if
never
you're-
came up.
If they never came up, then like I don't see it as sketchy. I see it as like obviously like every single friend I have, my girl does not know every single.
Or you
friend
text
I
them
have.
every time though.
Okay,
But,
that
but
if,
they're
if,
not that important.
They're
Or you
not.
text them every
Okay,
time.
okay, so
why should
okay,
they
yeah.
know
so
about
okay, so hold
them?
up with what Addie just said. If I'm constantly texting her, obviously my girl has some type of knowledge because that means if I'm with my girl,
Yeah.
I'm responding to this person, right? So that's in that situation, then they're coming up. But if I'm not constantly texting them and they're kind of like, oh, hi, let's like hang out type thing. We'll go hang out one time. It's not really like, oh yeah, babe, like you know, blah blah. This who this person is, or like let me introduce you. If I'm hanging out with you once a month, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I don't see it. If I'm hanging out with you once a month and we're not like in constant communication, I see you as like a friend, but you're not really like worth talking about. Like not to
You're
sound
like a casual, like,
yeah,
a
not to
associate.
sound mean, exactly. But like
acquaintance.
it's not like you're not important, but like you're just like not worth bringing up in my relationship because it's such like a small ass detail that doesn't really, you know.
Yeah, and I don't think your significant other should like get like iffy about that if it's just some random person, because that's when trust kicks in. Like,
Right.
if they trust you, they shouldn't get like, oh, why is that random person? I never heard of that random person. Like, it's a bigger issue there.
If someone you haven't seen in a long time, then you just randomly see her,
Right.
or you see him, and you guys like, hey, what's up? It's been a long time. Talking
Right.
stuff. I mean, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it would be different if you and this person had a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
You
like
guys are,
yeah,
texting
then that's
all
then
the
like you
time
have to be like,
and
okay,
stuff.
listen, I had a thing with this person, this who they are, whatever, you know? And then that's when it should ever come up. But like if you guys had no like emotional or sexual or any type of relationship besides like a platonic friendship, it really shouldn't be a big deal to be like, this is this person, this is who they are to me, this is where like I knew them from, this, you know, blah blah. Like that's what it is. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's get to the next question. Y'all went over 5 minutes.
Hey,
Yeah.
That's good.
Made up for all
It's
the
needed.
seconds that we, you know.
Yeah, all the seconds that we had to
We were
miss.
on the same question.
Right. I was like,
I thought we were.
So this is a question about what are qualities needed to keeping a long-term relationship, either with a partner or a friend.
Trust.
Respect. Respect comes first. Everything else will follow, period.
Amen.
Okay, what about communication though?
yeah, I was gonna say.
If you respect me, you'll communicate with me, right?
That you're right.
Not
well,
only
not
in a
always,
relationship,
not
but
always,
friendship.
not always, because I can have strong respect for you, but like still not tell you a lot of things. Like, and I feel like that's really what it comes down to, because like, okay, in a
Like your
relationship,
parents.
yeah, no, real talk,
That's
like
different.
parents,
That's
African
for
parents, you
example.
got
That's
respect for your African parents.
but I would not communicate with you. You
You
feel me?
tell them that you went with that guy.
That's different. That's different.
That's true. No,
No,
that's
that's
different.
back. We can
Choose wisely what to tell them.
That's true. No,
Like my
Benji's
dad.
right.
It makes sense.
But I would never, like, I respect my mom, but I wouldn't be like, yo, mom, I was, I was like, my mom look at me and be like, are you stupid? What's wrong with you? Like, real African gonna come out like,
Yeah,
oh.
they're not like, did you use a condom?
Yeah, that's not, we ain't doing
Yeah,
that.
no, they don't know. It doesn't come to that. Just, okay,
Yeah.
go in the
like,
room. I'm going to be waiting there with
No,
the kid.
I think respect is a key to like like a long-term relationship, but also like communication is the number one thing. Cause like if we're in a relationship and I'm mad at you and I'm not never telling you that I'm mad at you, you know, like that's gonna like be eating me up inside. And then what happens is I start to like have resent for you as a person, and then like it's gonna like hurt. Like every time I see you, I'm gonna want to like think of that thing that I have against you. You feel me?
Yeah, and I've known a
It's
lot
gonna
of
be animosity.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people that just don't prioritize communication. Like they don't think it's that important, and they don't feel the need to constantly like reassure you of their feelings or just let you know like what's going on. So I think like that's why I feel like it's the number one thing, because if you're constantly like letting them know what's up, like you're letting them know, okay, I'm feeling this way about that, you know, just gonna, I think that respect will kind of follow in a sense.
Yeah,
Because you're
yeah.
communicating like, I don't feel respected when you do this, or like
Yeah.
just little stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you said the top thing is communication.
I think that's like one of the top things.
Well,
It's not just
communication and
like
respect
yeah,
are
like
really-
I feel like I feel like there's a couple of things that could be like at the top of, you know, like being in a healthy like long-term relationship, but I feel like communication is by far one of like the top 5 if anything.
Because like people can communicate, but are you giving that respect back? Like, are you respectfully communicating to your partner, to your
Right,
friend, to your
right.
whoever? Because you can communicate.
Right.
It just depends on how you're communicating. So you said that's the top,
Right.
and it goes hand in hand. So which one would go on top, respect or communication?
I think like Zip said, if like that communication has to come, then like the respect will follow in a sense. Because like even if I'm communicating with you in like a disrespectful manner, you as a person will look at me and be like, yo, my G, like cut the shit, you know, like basically cut the shit out. You're disrespecting me and speak to me in a proper manner, you know?
Come correct.
Exactly. Basically, I'm like, and at that point, we can really sit down and have, and like, that's when that's when I put myself in check as a person and be like, okay, like, I may be angry that you came at me, you know, that way, but I'll be like, okay, cool. You have something towards it, then like that respect will come behind that. But okay, you know what? I apologize. This is not how I should have acted, and you know, so on and so forth.
So this isn't only like a relationship, like guy, girl, whatever out there, but this is also with a friendship. So you said communication, respect, trust, honesty. Is there any love towards the person?
Yeah, of course.
Because we ask for qualities, so we want to know, we want to get like deeper. Like, don't just think like the under the top of the surface kind of deal. Let's
Right.
think deeper than that.
Right.
And what about loyalty?
You said what?
What about loyalty?
That loyalty is different.
Loyalty follows. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like everything has to like follow its tail. You know what I'm saying? It has to follow like communication. Because like, if real talk, if you're not able to tell me something because like of the loyalty we have, what really like kind of relationship do we have? You feel me? And that's really what it comes down to.
And I feel like one thing that's really overlooked is effort, because in order for anything to be sustained, you have to put effort into it. Like,
Yeah.
Consistent
no matter how
effort.
much, yeah, no matter how much you love someone, respect them, communicate with them, if you're not putting in that effort, like, it's just kind of like dead. So that's really important.
Yeah, and Tina, you brought up love, and like before I can love you, I have to be able to like speak to you and see who you are as a person. You know what I'm saying? Because like, regardless if we like to hear it or not, we don't all love every single human being in the world because we don't all know every single human being. And like and I'm not even speaking in like terms of enemies, you know? Like that's just the facts of it. Like I have to be able to talk to you and see who you are and see, okay, maybe you can be in my life as a friend and I can like show some love towards you.
I feel like the biggest thing is just like being able to listen and being able to change, because I feel like nobody's perfect, you know what I'm saying? Like all the stuff that we're mentioning, you know, you might like fall into that, like for instance, you're talking about respect and all that. Like there might be a time.
Yeah, you got time, man.
Like there might be a time.
Continue.
There might be a time where you might find yourself disrespecting your mate, right?
Yeah.
But if you're willing to change and if you're willing to listen to your mate, and if you're not just like seeing things from your perspective all the time, and you know, for instance, like you could be at a barbecue, you might say something that your mate might think is disrespectful to them, and if they bring it up to you, are you willing to listen? Are you willing to change, or are you just gonna brush it aside and be like, you know what, I wasn't really trying to disrespect you, but if you take it that way, so whatever.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, so I feel like at the end of the day, we're all human. We're all gonna fall into mistakes. We're all gonna, you know, do stuff that is out of our character. But as long as we're willing to change and we're willing to listen to each other, I feel like that's what's gonna bring for like the longevity of like the relationship. Because nobody's perfect. Like you might cheat, you might do anything, but are you willing to change? That's like the biggest part. Like at the end of the day. That's all I feel.
Sorry. In addition to that, I think a huge thing is reciprocity. Like, if you're not reciprocating, I think it just, the relationship or friendship, whatever, cannot last. Because I think too often, like, we find ourselves in situations where, like, one person is putting in, like, 110% effort and the other person is just putting in, like, 40% sometimes. When they want to, they put in, like, 60. But nothing can last if it's not, like, two people putting in that full on 100%. So I think that's super important, reciprocity.
Okay. So that brings us to our last, to sum up everything. So now we want to give you guys the floor just to advise on anything. There's young, there's old, there's people our age that are going through the same thing that we talked about, that we mentioned, currently going through it. We're young, we're getting older, but there are some older people that want to hear some advice too. So what advice can you guys give to our viewers, just to leave off on a note? It can be anything.
Don't get in a relationship because you're lonely, because you can still feel lonely when you're in a relationship.
That's true.
I don't know. Be 100% authentically yourself. Everything else will follow.
True.
Relationships, friends. You know, the right people will navigate towards you. Whatever.
Trust. That's for me. That's for me. I love trust. I don't know. No matter. Yeah, advice. Trust the person, man. You know advice.
Leave her, Benji. Go ahead. Do what you gotta do. It's okay.
No, but like trust one another. You know, like yes, you know, someone as what you call it, as he said, you know, nobody's perfect, but you might mess up sometimes. You might not. Just trust the person, no matter what, and everything else will follow.
I feel like it's easy to love other people more than you love yourself, so try your best to love yourself.
First.
Yeah.
For me, I think one big lesson that I learned, like, during the past year is just taking accountability for, like, the part you have to play with, like, the hurt in your life, and just, like, breaking it down more. No one can force themselves to be in your life. Like, everyone that's in your life, you allow them into your life. So if you're recognizing that you're letting, like, ain't shit people in your life, you don't have to make a change and not let them into your life. So I think instead of, like, going around and saying, you know, niggas ain't shit, or, like, girls ain't shit, whatever, you know, like, take a break and just pause and realize, who are you letting into your life? Like, what is the pattern, like, of these, like, ain't shit people that are coming into your life, and take accountability for that. Until you recognize that, you'll keep letting in the same type of people into your life and keep experiencing the same things. So just recognize that, take a step back, realize your worth, you know, and just go accordingly.
And take accountability for yourself, because sometimes you can be the problem.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel like that's the
Yeah.
biggest
No,
part.
yeah.
I think, I think.
And
Being
you know
yourself
what?
by
Especially
having
with
a problem.
females. Which is so fun.
Especially with what? Don't start.
Okay.
That's another topic.
That's
No,
another topic.
ending
Very-
this.
that's
Females
another
or with
It's not
males,
ending this.
Oh, wait for them.
no
Wait for
matter
them to get
what,
done.
no matter what, when if you have a problem with someone, everything starts from within.
Yeah.
Always look at where you are first.
And what you did.
Yeah, and what you did.
Yeah.
And be willing to apologize at all times, even if it's difficult to apologize. Always apologize. Saying sorry can't hurt you.
I think what everybody basically said sums up what like my advice would be, you know, or and like I feel like one thing like we lack nowadays is honor, where it's like people really don't have like honor amongst each other, you know, to be like to hold each other accountable for what each other does, you know, where it's like I feel like we're so afraid of like, oh, I don't want to step on people's toes, so I'm not really gonna speak up about if I feel like somebody's doing something wrong. So like just be able to speak up when you see wrong happening and like be yourself, trust each other, be loyal. Yeah.
Okay, so my advice would be to like bounce off what Rose was saying, just be yourself because everybody else is taken. There's only one of you in this whole world, so stop trying to be like everybody else and just be yourself. And if nobody accepts you for you, you need to accept yourself for you.
And my last piece of advice I would give is love yourself. When you start taking care of yourself and you start worrying about yourself, you start having to break down and letting people that are negative, you're making sure that people that you know aren't going to give you what you want and your happiness. You're going to start cutting them off and completely saying, I don't need you in my life because I know my worth. I love myself enough to know that I can't have somebody like you in my life.
Don't settle for mediocrity.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
thank you guys for coming. Thank you guys for watching our part 2. Like, comment, and subscribe. Bye. Bye.